Welcome to Break Free from Corporate, the only podcast dedicated to bringing you business success secrets from leading entrepreneurs with one thing in common. They left the corporate world, became their own boss, and are now living incredible lives. To access previous and all future episodes, visit breakfreefromcorporate.com and subscribe today.
Well, hi everyone, this is Gavin Sequeira here, and welcome to another exciting episode on Break Free from Corporate. Today I'm particularly excited to have one of my friends and mentors and good buddies with me. His name is Johan Naguera, and Johan is someone of a change leader. He's a business expert, he's an entrepreneur, he's a mentor to a lot of people, and he's got quite an impressive resume. I'm just going to try my very best to read a couple of things that he's done, and I'm sure he's going to fill in the gaps. Firstly, Johan, are you there with us?
I am. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the show, buddy. I'm just going to do my best here to let people know a little bit about you, and I'd love for you to obviously share your story today. So Johan is someone who considers himself an empire builder, or he certainly helps a lot of people grow their business, scale their business, and he's the founder of Business Authorities, which is where you and I actually met, Johan. So, fantastic for setting that up and helping a lot of people. He's a technology investor, and he has done a lot of great things with people, not just here in Australia, but all around the world. So I can't wait for you to elaborate on some of those things, Johan. Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Now, what a lot of people will want to know is, how did you begin? So where did everything start? You didn't just wake up one day and you were a successful entrepreneur. You obviously got started somewhere, right? Like we all did. What was your journey like?
Well, I'll give you a few little snippets. We all have these little snippets of going, hey, what the hell? I should change direction. And it starts off when I was 15 years old. Now, at the age of 15, I was working at McDonald's, for $5.50 an hour, something like that.
Yeah.
And then one day I went home and my dad said, hey, how many burgers did you make? And I said, well, I think I made around 200 burgers. He's like, oh, wow. That's a lot of burgers. And I said, yeah, and I got paid $20 for my 4 hours. And he's like, well, you just made them a lot of money. I went, hey, you're right. I made them a lot of money. So that was one thought, which I only pieced together later on. And then, after McDonald's, I ended up working at Maya. Do you know Maya?
Yeah, I know
department
Maya.
store.
Yeah.
And I was working at Hugo Boss. And me and the team there, we used to make life fun and have all these competitions and stuff. And so it was who could sell the most suits.
Yes.
I used to sell, 10 suits a day on average.
Okay.
And for anyone who knows Hugo Boss suits, they're about $2,000.
Sure.
Now, once again, this thought pops into my head. I'm like, hey, I think I made about $150 maybe, for the whole day.
Yeah.
And I just made Hugo Boss $2,000 or Maya $20,000.
Yeah, that's right.
I went, oh, wow, how do I become the middleman? So those were little snippets, yeah. But then I forgot about those things. And I ended up going to university, and then I pursued an academic career. Yeah. And I, graduated with honors in genetically modified canola. And after I graduated, I think I graduated in November, in December, the Australian government banned genetically modified crops in Australia.
Oh, you're joking. Right. Wow.
So here I am 5 years later after doing this degree, and it's kind of worthless unless I go over to Canada or something.
Sure.
And I'm like, no, it's too cold over there. So what else can I do? So I talked to my professors, and I'm like, guys, what are my options? They're like, oh, you can do a PhD. And I'm like, oh, okay. Went home and told my parents, and my parents were like, oh my God, you're going to be a doctor. That'll be amazing. I'm like, cool, let me do this PhD. So anyway, so I started doing this PhD. And, a year passes, and I'm so dedicated to this thing. I'm like, it was a Friday night, about a year in, and I'm watching water go through soil and calculating the rate of drainage. Now, so even just saying that sentence makes me bored, right?
Yeah, you said it with a lot of passion, not.
And it's Friday night, 11 o'clock. I'd been there from about 6 in the morning, and my supervisor comes in, my boss, and he says, you're doing a great job, Johan. In 10 years, you'll be at my level. I said, oh, my God, that's incredible. This man travels the world, speaks on stages, writes books, has this great career that he's built. And then I made the mistake of asking him the question. I said, how much money do you make? I broke one of my dad's cardinal rules, and
Yes.
that is never ask a man his wage or a woman her age. But I just had to know. So I said, how much money do you make? And he told me a number where I was like, oh my God, I could make more working at Maya, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And my mind spun out. I couldn't sleep for a couple of days. My mind was in a head spin. And I went and I typed in, make money online into Google. Now this is 2005, around there.
Okay.
And make money online. That was one of the main keywords you typed in back in the day, because that was all the rage.
Yes.
And I ended up discovering this software, which on eBay, where it allowed me to fill out a survey, and I got paid for filling out the survey.
Right.
I was like, oh wow! And by the way, at this point in time in my life, I've moved to Horsham, which is 3.5 hours away from Melbourne, and I didn't really have a friendship circle because I was in academia.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I've got these evenings free. I'm going to sit down and just click buttons and fill out these surveys. It didn't matter about the data. Yeah, exactly. Get paid for it. And then 2 weeks goes by, and I went, hang on a second. I've just worked out that I'm making about $3 an hour.
and you're not getting out of the house.
Exactly. I'm just sitting there clicking buttons, and I'm making $3 an hour. This is, unsustainable.
Yeah.
Maybe I should think of doing something else. So I emailed the guy who I bought the software from, and I said, hey man, do you mind if I resell this? He's like, yeah, go for it. No problem. So I had looked at what he'd done, and then I put another listing on eBay, but made it look better.
Yeah.
And just aesthetically more appealing, and some more copywriting. Now, copywriting, I didn't know I copywrote it, but I copywrote it, right? Okay. I made it sound awesome.
Yeah.
And every morning I would wake up, and I priced it at $20. And this guy had his price at $10. So people looked at mine and went, oh yeah, obviously this one's better. It's double the price. It's human psychology.
Yeah.
And so every morning I'd wake up and I'd sold about, between 10 to 15 of these.
Nice.
And so all I had to do was forward an email with the zip file, and I made more money in that 10, 15 minutes than I would make working at my job for the whole week.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. This is systems. It's leveraging a system. eBay's driving all the traffic for me.
Yeah.
During this time, I ended up getting engaged. Now, by the way, I was on a scholarship. The scholarship was $20,000 a year.
Yeah, wow.
And, me being young and naive, somebody said, well, if you're going to get engaged, you have to spend half your money. That's the rule. So I said, okay. So I went to a jewelry store and said, okay, I've got $10,000 to spend. And, what shall I buy? And they're like, cha-ching. They just looked at me like,
oh, this, come this way,
here we
sir.
go. Exactly. Here's this fool just walked in. They said, how many other stores have you been into? I'm like, none. They're like, okay, cool. We'll look after you. Don't worry. Yeah. Anyway, they looked after me, all right. So I spent the 10 grand. They conveniently made it 9,990, by the way.
Sure.
So saved $10 off my budget.
Yeah.
And I put it on a 3-month payment plan, and I paid it off. And so after I paid it off, about 2 weeks later, I see the same ring advertised online for $2,000.
Oh, that's gut-wrenching.
And I'm like, wait, what? So I buy that ring. I'm buying it on my credit card, because if this is a fake ring, then I'm going to get my money back. And I take it to the jeweler. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this ring? And he's like, oh, I'll give you $5 grand for it. I'm like,
no way.
Whoa. I'm like, all right, deal. Yeah, take
Done.
it.
Yeah.
I go back to this website and I buy more stuff. And then I take it to him. I'm like, what do you want? And he's like, I'll have this, this, that. And whatever he didn't want, I'd go and put on eBay. Now, off this website, I was buying it at 90% off. And I was selling it on eBay for 50% off.
Wow.
In about 4 months, I was walking around with a duffel bag with about $200,000 worth of diamonds and jewelry. And everybody thought I was a drug dealer because this duffel bag never left my side. Because I was a PhD student. I was living in a shared house.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave my bag there. I didn't know who was coming through the house. Back then we used to party a lot.
Yeah.
And by parties, I mean just have people over.
Yeah.
And so this bag never left my house, but for everybody's birthdays, they'd get jewelry, rings, diamonds, and they're like, what the hell? We know that Johann's a PhD student, and we know PhD students don't make that amount of money.
We're just not going to ask questions.
How does he make all this money? Anyway, so then, that happened, and then I moved back to Melbourne, and, I was, well, the lady who I was engaged to at that point in time, that dissolved because I went to a Robert Kiyosaki event.
Yes.
And in there, he was talking about relationships. And he said, okay, in relationships, you have to have a partner who's there side by side with you through everything and has to have the same vision. Now, the lady I was with, her vision was for a normal life, a normal car, a normal job, a normal everything.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wasn't subscribing to normal. You know,
Sure.
We only have one life. Let's make it
Great.
extraordinary
Yeah.
while we can. And so that's the reason for that falling apart. Anyway, now in Melbourne, having a great time. I said it, but by the way, all the eBay stores, they just kept running. I ended up building 6 of those.
Wow.
Then I decided to go into affiliate marketing. I don't know if you know what affiliate marketing is, but
I do. But tell us.
I'll explain it.
Yeah.
Affiliate marketing is where you're selling somebody else's product. Well, actually, it was because of this website. So on this website, I was buying the stuff, and then I had to package it and ship it to people who were buying it off eBay. But then these guys came out with an affiliate program where they said, we will pay 15% on every person who buys through your link. So now we're at about 2007, and Facebook had just come out. And I could go on Facebook and create an ad that said, any man who's between the ages of 25 to 35 who's been in a relationship will see this ad. And the ad would say, hey, 90% of diamond rings. Think you're proposing? Click here. Like literally, that's what my ad said with the nice diamond ring. And any dude would click on it. And then when they go there, it's not just diamond rings that they'd see, you know, watches and sunglasses and all this other stuff. And so the average person would end up spending about $1,000, of which I make 15%, which is $150. Now, for me to get them on Facebook and send them to this other website was costing me about between 10 to 20 cents. Yeah. So it was the dawn of, you know, marketing, and it's just amazing how these things happen. Anyway, so CPA, the affiliate marketing kicks off, and then in about 2008, CPA marketing evolved, so cost per acquisition. Yes. And this is where there's 3 parties. So, for example, there's a bank. Now, this is a hypothetical. Commonwealth Bank goes to a CPA network and says, hey, we want to launch a new credit card. We'll pay you $300 for every application we get. The CPA network contacts people like me and says, hey, for every application you fill out, not you fill out, as in real data that you get, we'll give you $200. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I go to Google and buy the keywords Commonwealth Bank credit card application. So if anybody clicked on that link or typed in those words and my ad popped up, they clicked on the link, it would cost me $6. Yeah. Now, if 10 people clicked on it and 1 person filled it out, I'd make 200 minus 60, $140. But there was 1,800 searches of that every month. So this is CPA marketing. It's incredible. And that's just one. Like, it took half a day to set it up. And all you do when you're a CPA marketer is you're media buying all over the internet. And it's basically arbitrage. So you're buying from here, selling there, etc. Easy. Yes. But then my parents came to me and, you know, I don't know. Well, actually, I think we do share a common heritage.
I think we do. Yes.
My parents came to me and said, hey, you know, what are we going to tell all the other families? You just sit at home and on your computer all the time.
Carrying a duffel bag full of diamonds.
Exactly.
Dressed in nice suits. Yeah.
But by this time, that was gone. I was dressed in my tracky dacks with a hoodie and a beard. And they're like, you look like a bum. Because I'm just behind my computer all day. Anyway, so I built a digital agency, which was this is where life gets very hard. I made life hard for myself, Gavin, so I used to started off building websites. Now, building a website back then, 2010, we'd go to a website called Theme Forest and buy a template for $50. Yeah. And we'd sell the websites for $500. So it's like, yay, we made awesome profit. Except it took 1 month to build this website. Yeah. So it wasn't really that much awesome profit.
No, that's right.
when you think about it. Yeah. But anyway, I systemized the business, and before I knew it, we had 40 staff. And you know, 40 staff, all of these projects going on. I had to hire people. So this is where the real pain, like before, if, you know, my whole story prior to this was just me. That's right. Just me, and all I had to look after was me. And, you know, if I had to go without for something, it was just me. Now I'm responsible for people. Like, that is a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility. It is. And By the way, interrupt me and ask me any questions anytime you want.
No, keep going, because the story, I mean, we'll dissect some of this stuff later on.
Yeah, for sure. So build this business, and all of a sudden, I think I'm about like 2 years into this business, and we've got 100 people. Like, if I don't wake up and do what I do, 100 mouths don't get fed. Like, it's crazy to think about this. And I had about 36 agencies that were feeding us work all day. Oh, by the way, the story there was, I was trying to go and find websites to sell to people, and then I realized who's already got my, website clients, and it's the other digital agencies. So I just went up to them and said, hey, man, I can build websites quicker than you, faster than you, better looking than you, and at a fixed cost. Why don't you give me the websites and I'll put your name on it? Therefore, you get all the kudos and I get the work. And so we ended up building a factory, a virtual factory, where people were just sending us websites all day long, and we had a system in place. So these websites were just getting pumped out. Now, back then we used to sell websites for 500. Now we sell them for 50,000, because they make it's just a completely different market and a completely different mindset. I'll get more into that down in the future. Sure. So we've built this amazing team. The machinery is running, and in business there's always ups and downs. I remember a Christmas where I literally had to eat tuna out of a can, and because I needed to make sure that I had to feed my staff and give them their bonuses and everything. And my girlfriend, who's now my wife, was like, "What are you doing? Why?" She goes, why are you like, what's going on? I thought, this business is successful. I go, it is, but I have to pay them all the bonuses. And all of a sudden I realized I was making more money just being by myself than running this company with all of these overheads and all of these people. Yeah. And anyway, got to that stage, but then I realized that I could grow that business by systemizing it and optimizing it, and making small little tweaks in the business, which we'll cover maybe another time, Gavin, because your business is what I love, and you've been to my seminars. I can talk for 8 hours straight.
Yeah, and Johan, with everything you're saying, and look, I'll let you continue, but I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that this is obviously a journey, right? So what you're describing is your journey, your evolution, how you did one thing, you learned from it, then you did another thing, and you figured out, hey, hang on a second, this is either working for me or it's not. And this is life. And so the people that are listening to this right now are probably stuck where they are right now, Johan. And, some of them haven't started a business, because, a lot of my listeners are still in their 9-to-5 jobs. Some of them may have a business on the side. Maybe they're part-time hobbyists. The early entrepreneur, they got something going in the garage or the shed, and it hasn't quite taken off, or maybe it has taken off, but it's still in that fledgling state. But as they're listening to you talk, what's interesting is how you made decisions and how you decided to jump onto something else, or why you decided to do something else. And I think, maybe if you can get into some of that as you're describing your story, that would be really beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. So the reason I built the digital agency was purely to please my parents. It was. I was very happy to sit in front of the computer making all this money, and then I was like, no, I need to uphold the family name, and my parents need to save face, or whatever it was, right? Anyway, it was probably bullshit in my own head, but so that's why I did that. But then through doing that, this is what happened. We ended up becoming known, and my teams, because my teams were growing and the skill sets were growing, we became known as the people who could build the hard projects. So other agencies, we had all these agencies going, hey man, we can't do this. It's not in our capability, but I think you can. Can we outsource this to you? I'm like, hell yeah. So we ended up building systems for the Defense Force, systems for the airport. Right now, when you go through the airport, you're using the systems that we built.
That's amazing.
Systems in the agricultural sector. Thank you. Yeah. And so those are things that we can be proud of, and gives us significance, and the 6 basic human needs. And so from there, the agency, we started to systemize it, and because of the systemization, it started to hum, and it didn't need me anymore, and it kept growing, and it was fed, like, all the projects, everything was systemized. So I hired a general manager. It was the best decision I ever made. And I wish I had done that years ago, because it would have taken away so much stress. And at the point, so now, you're asking me about decision-making criteria. My decision-making criteria is, oh, cool, we've got this, we got this project, we made this amount of profit. Who else can I hire to either be part of that project or to be part of the company, which is then an asset? I read a book called Cash Flow Quadrant. I don't know if anyone, Robert Kiyosaki. Yep. And he had the 4 quadrants. He had the employee, self-employed, business owner, investor.
Yes.
And I realized I went from employee to being a self-employed person. My business was not a business because it didn't run without me.
Mm-hmm.
Only when I realized that it was the power of systems and leverage that I could have a business that was running without me did I actually become a business owner.
Yeah.
Massive
That's a huge
distinction.
shift, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And even people now who've been in business, I was talking to a gentleman just before, 37 years he's been in business. His company does $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Johan, I need your help. I need to systemize my business. I heard you talk. He goes, I cannot sell my business. It is just, unsellable because I'm the face of the business.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, cool.
And there's a lot of people in that situation, isn't there? I mean, because they started off the business, they were the doers and almost the you got the people who operate within the business and they never really let go of that. And so,
Correct.
Yeah.
And being control freaks, you actually stunt your growth.
Yeah.
And trust me, I was that too. I was a massive control freak. No, it has to be done in my way. It's an art form. Blah blah blah. Anyway, nobody can do it other than me. Yeah, exactly. all the BS that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And the more people that you can get involved that can then take over those roles, the quicker you can actually grow. So now we're at about 2015 in the story, but in 2012, I built a SaaS technology. And I won't go into that whole story just now.
Okay.
But I ended up, actually, you know what? I will. I moved into a building.
Why not?
Why not? I moved into a building in Melbourne. And when I moved into there, they told me that it was the best building in Melbourne. I went, oh, cool. Except I get a piece of paper coming under my door saying your windows are going to get cleaned. I'm like, interesting. And then at nighttime, I get another one which says your carpets will get cleaned tomorrow. I went, wow, interesting. Something must be broken. A month goes past. I've been living in the building, and there's an inch thick of paper sitting on the table next to my, next to the door, with just one sentence on there. I'm like, something's not broken. This is their system. So I take this stack of paper and I go to the building manager and I say, how much is this costing me? He said, it's $1 per sheet. I said, $1 per sheet, twice a day, with 500 apartments. That's $1,000 a day, plus some poor person is walking around putting these things under my door.
Yeah.
So there's, that's $365,000 worth of problems that we can solve.
Yeah.
So decision-making matrix.
Yes.
What problems can I solve, right?
Yeah.
There's problems everywhere with every system. And at the end of the day, business owners are just always looking for problems that they can solve or efficiencies that they can create.
Yes.
So he goes, okay, what do you propose? I said, why don't we build an app for the building? He goes, I don't know what that means, but sure, go for it. So I fly over to Dubai when we could fly. And
it almost seems like another lifetime, doesn't it?
It's what a world.
Insane, but yeah.
So come back and we reverse engineer, the best system that we can put together from an amalgamation of all these other systems. Luckily, I have a tech team who can do that for me. Mm-hmm. And I present this and to the owners corporation. They go, we love this. This is amazing. I'm like, cool. And so, they go, we'll take it. I'm walking out the building. This guy comes chasing me and says, how much money did you just make? I'm like, I did all right. He goes, cool. How about we become business partners? I've got 30 other buildings. I'm like, sweet, let's do it. I love partnerships.
Yeah.
So key rule, partnerships get you there way quicker.
Yeah.
And so in 2 years, it took us 2 years to deploy this into 30 buildings. And again, there was a huge learning curve into how to sell this technology and all those sorts of stuff. But it took 2 years to get it to there. And then he says, hey, I'm retiring. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm retiring. I'm like, so what happens to the company? He's like, well, easy. You buy me out. I'm like, oh, okay. So, again, still young and naive, 2012. Yeah. So I know, 2015 now. So I buy him out. And then I'm sitting there going, universe, I need your help. I really need your help. I go, I don't want to walk around to buildings trying to sell them technology. Please give me something. And then the next day I get a phone call saying, hey, we've been trying to copy your software for the last 2 years. What's it going to take to buy you out and partner with you? I'm like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So we go and catch up. And when we catch up, these guys have built like pretty much Brighton and Turak, and they come from old money. And they say, we want to build this company into $100 million company. I'm like, I don't even know how many zeros that is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of zeros. I'm like, well,
Sure.
we're currently doing about $1 million, and there's enough stresses and problems that comes with that million. I can't imagine what 100 million looks like. They're like, yeah, well, we don't build businesses like that. We build them properly. I'm like, oh, interesting. All right, let's go for the journey. Let's go on a learning experience. So decision-making matrix. Let's learn, because you know when you find people who've been there, done that, you want to learn
from them. 100%.
Exactly, and it accelerates your entire growth. Now, in 4 years, we built that company to $20 million, and it was just the most fun ride ever, and just incredible. Like, I'm like, what? How is this? What? Like, how did I get to this table? That was my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, one day, one of my friends calls me up and said, you know, these other guys, two other friends of ours, separately, like a couple of months apart, had taken their lives. And they were agency owners. And so here's another lesson. Business is stressful. Business is lonely. Business is hard. And
I was gonna talk to you about this, but yeah, you've brought it up at a good point. I mean, you know, obviously, when you started off your journey, you were doing it on your own, right? You were doing okay, but you're doing it on your own, and you were everything. So if you didn't wake up in the morning, you didn't get paid, right?
Correct.
But then you also have the opposite, where you could have a lot of people working for you, and so you feel like you've leveraged your time a little bit, but now you're responsible for a lot of people, and that comes with its own headaches and stress. So if you haven't systemized properly, you can almost cause yourself another headache. So so where's the magic in between?
Well, we're getting to that just now. Good timing.
Good timing.
So this unfortunate set of events happens, and then it makes me realize, I've had my head in the clouds, you know, with the success of this company. I haven't had a chance to connect with my people. And so I started calling up my friends and saying, hey man, how's business? How's everything? And most of them would say, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm plateaued. I've got 5 employees for the last 7 years. I don't know how to grow. And then, you know, with all these people telling me all these things, and then looking at my journey going, how did I achieve what I achieved? How can I, again, now going back to being the scientist, how can I teach people how to do this, or show them the journey so that they can learn, and then they can implement it into their lives or their businesses? And so that's where Business Authorities was born. And yeah, so that's the start of it. So that was 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And the idea was, I'm going to get the people who I know and trust, who've helped me build my businesses, and I'm going to get them on stage, and I'm going to have a 2-day event where I'm going to just get them to show people how, you know, what to do at different stages of their business. From being a founder through to being an empire builder, because everybody defines empire as different, but my definition is where you have all the capital, all the assets that you want, and you can just keep growing the empire. And your empire might be just blissing out in, you know, chilling out in Ubud. That's what my wife loves to do. She loves going to Bali and just relaxing, and that's like the best thing ever. I'm like, yeah, cool.
That's a nice spot, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, you know, we used to go there twice a year.
Yeah.
So Business Authorities launches, and that launches our little community. By the way, I've never run an event in my life. So putting on an event for 150 people, out of everything that I've done, this was probably the most stressful thing I've done in my life. And I've had two kids.
Yeah.
So Business Authorities kicks off, and there's by the way, you can drill me about all the stresses, because my brain tends to block out all the stresses and all the bad parts. You know, we remember all the good parts.
Johan, I never believed. Well, actually, one of my earlier mentors told me the universe will never give you a challenge that you don't deserve and that you can't handle. So,
Yes.
if you ever feel anyone listening to this is probably thinking, wow, Johan's just on this lovely merry-go-round that, everything just sort of worked out for him. He had a lot of challenges and he's talking about it, and we all do. And every time you have a challenge, that is your opportunity to either step up and do something great with it, because it's a learning experience, isn't it?
100%. And
Yeah.
and those of you who are thinking of going from your 9 to 5, just remember, what you're about to embark on is not 9 to 5 anymore. It's 24/7, 365.
Hey, thanks for sharing that. I try and tell people, you know what? Why? Because people come up to me, Johan, they go, hey, I've been thinking, Gavin, of starting this thing, and I just need some help. I'm like, how's the rest of your life going right now? And they go, I'm really stressed, and I'm this and that. And if you're not in a good place and you want to build a business,
Yep.
I almost tell people you need to get a lot of other things in order before you can, start something like this. Because once you start it, it's going to consume you. It's going to take up a lot of your time and effort. And if you're not okay in other areas of your life, it can be really hard to juggle. And that's why, unfortunately, I see a lot of small businesses, startups fail in the first couple of years because you run out of juice,
The success rate of businesses, like, to me, being a business owner, you are on the gladiator field fighting every day. And one of these days you could easily get knocked out. So business is very, very, very hard. And it doesn't matter the level of success you've reached. A few little things could literally knock you off your perch. And anyway, we'll go into that, shortly. So business authorities launches, and business authorities is more my, way of giving back to the world, to the community, etc. And through business authorities, in its first year, it made 1,080,000 impacts around the world. Now,
that's
I think,
fantastic.
Gavin, you know Paul Dunn. And
I do. I heard him speak. He's an amazing individual, and
exactly.
Yeah.
So through his organization, him and Masami, B1G1, where 100% of the profits that's given, 100% of the money that's given, not the profits, goes to the different causes, and that creates one impact. So through the business authorities community, we made 1,080,000 impacts in its first year, which, seriously, if a small little organization like ours can make that, all the other businesses, we could literally transform the lives of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people.
Phenomenal.
So that's my philosophy on business. And by the way, there's always people who say, what are you going to do with so much money? Like, are you greedy or something like that? I'm like, well, the person who, what's the quote? The person who thinks that money cannot bring happiness has not given enough away. And
well, I don't know if I've heard that version of it, but yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
because and that's essentially what business authorities is.
Yeah.
Now, 2019, going back to stresses, 2019. One of my, remember I told you there's 36 agencies that supplied my digital agency.
Yep.
One of them, I looked at the books and saw that he had stopped ordering from us, or the orders were declining over the last 2 years. So I called him up and I said, hey, Andrew, what's going on over here? You haven't ordered from us in 2 years properly, like you normally do. Do you not like me anymore? And he said, no, it's not that. My business partner has cancer and is terminal, and I'm just trying to get everything done, and because I'm running around trying to do everything, I can't go out and sell because I'm trying to fulfill. And he's just overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, okay. So what are you going to do once these ones are fulfilled? He said, I'm going to shut down the company. I said, you've been in business for 18 years. I go, can I have a look at the books? He's like, yeah, sure. Let's have a look at the books. And then I look at the books, and he's got like 4,000 people in there, of which about 800 are blue chip clients. I'm like, what? I go, dude, this is a gold mine. He's like, I don't know what you're looking at. We're looking at the same thing. But I don't see a gold mine. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, let me show you. I go, book a meeting with these 2 clients. I go, by the way, let's agree on a buyout. I go, if I, pay you this amount of money over this amount of time, then, this company's mine. And if you want to buy back in, you can buy back in 6 months and hang around for a couple of months. If you like it, you can hang around for 6 months. And then if you want to buy back in, go for it. He's like, yeah, sweet, done. We go to the first meeting that he'd organized. This is with a mining company.
Right.
We walk out of there with a $30,000 a month contract in a 1-hour meeting.
Wow.
And he's gone, did you just close? Did you just close a $360,000 deal? I'm like, yes, I did. But we sold them everything from AdWords to SEO to website redesign to video shooting to all of this stuff. And again, these numbers might sound big, but it's the profit that actually makes it, right?
Yes.
There's no, and we can go into those stories a bit later. The second meeting that I go into, we sell a $200,000 mobile app build to this massive company. And he's like, holy shit, this is the biggest day of my life. Like, did we just make $500,000 in a day? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I told you, you have a gold mine sitting there. By the way, those projects take a year to mature, right?
Of course.
Those are just monthly. But the point is, when you have the right teams, when you have the right systems, you have the right confidence to deliver on your word and say, yes, I'm going to get this done, and you do deliver, more projects keep coming. So that company ended up becoming Earthlink Alliance. So Earthlink Alliance. I
was going to ask you about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So that's how Earthlink Alliance formed. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. So that's October 2019. And now compared to my first digital agency, it's like going to a Chinese restaurant where there's you open up the menu. There's more than 100 items on the menu.
Yes.
It's literally high volume, low profit.
That's right.
Whereas Earthlink Alliance is only 4 products. So it's high profit, but high value to the end client. So remember I told you we were selling websites for $500 over here?
That's right.
And then now we're selling them for $50,000 over here. It's the high value, right?
Yeah.
It's understanding what business we were in. Before we thought we were in the website business. Now we're in the business of designing automated, systemized businesses, and a website is just one piece of that.
One component.
We can't just sell you one component. We have to sell you all of it in order for it to function. Like there's no point selling you an engine without having the rest of the car and the wheels. And
that's actually a good analogy. That's a really good analogy. Yeah, and if you try and build things piecemeal, well, you'll get a product that's you got a bit here from here and a bit from there and a bit from everywhere, and none of it gels.
Correct. It ends up looking like Homer Simpson's car that his brother let him build. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember that cartoon, but
I do. I remember the Simpsons. That's fantastic. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
So that's the journey so far, and I've told you all the good bits, but there's plenty of bad bits, plenty of parts where I was having a heart attack. I couldn't sleep at night, and I wasn't actually having a heart attack. Just
no, but I mean, I can imagine the stresses. Were pretty. The stresses would have challenged you to either step up or step down, and I think if you'd like to share a little bit about what okay, let's put it this way. People who are listening to you, and that I talk to every day, they quite often they'll start something and then life gets a bit tough, right? Now whether it's COVID or whether it's this or whether it's that, or like you said, the client of yours who his business partner had a heart attack or something like that, or whatever it might be, and suddenly life just gets really challenging and everything stops. So what would you say to someone like that? And I know you do this all the time through your mentorship and all, but when people are faced with those kind of, do I keep going? Is it worth it?
It's always worth it as long as you have the right business models in place.
Okay.
So if you don't have a plan and you're just going with the flow, the chances of you making it are very, very low. Yeah. So you need to have a proper plan, a proper strategy, the proper partners. And it might not be, partners in your business. It's joint venture partners. That's what I explained to, my first business. The first digital agency, that's what we did. We had partnerships with all these guys. And I knew that I didn't have to wake up and go hunting. I knew that the deals would be coming to me. Yeah. And so setting yourself up for success from the start, conceptualizing it, imagining it. Because if you can imagine it and plan it out and draw it out and make sure that all those systems that you're building work, then your business will be successessful. I like it. And then there's contingency plans that you have to put in there, because things are never going to go 100% according to plan. Anyone who's been on the internet has seen, these people say, oh yeah, there was a little dot down the bottom left-hand corner, and then there's a straight line to the top right-hand corner, and that's the line to success. But in fact, it's actually zigzag backwards, up and down, exactly. All around. That's just life, and that's the beauty of life. Yeah. And what I think Tony Robbins says, your problems never go away. Yeah. Your problems just get better. And this came up like 2 days ago. One of my friends came over and he's like, I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, and he looks stressed out. I'm like, what's wrong, man? He's like, well, I have to find somewhere to spend 120 million because otherwise I'm going to get taxed on it, and I don't want to really give the government that money.
That's a good problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah, but if he doesn't find the right investments, he's got investors who are going to jump down his throat, and if he doesn't do what he says he's going to do, the government's going to take most of that money, and so there's always problems. Problems never go away.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Tony Robbins. I think his mentor Jim Rohn said something very similar, which is, don't wish your life was easier, wish you were better.
Yes.
And I've never forgotten that. And I think it's a really, sometimes it can be overwhelming when, problems just appear, and it becomes a lot to handle. And again, you know this better than anyone, Johan. You are the average of the 5 closest people you hang around, right? So, how important is it that you start circulating or mixing around, or you start looking for people that are going to help you move towards your goals? So if right now you're surrounded by people that are just kind of keeping you where you are, but you want better, you know you can do better, you have aspirations, you have goals and dreams, but you're stuck and you just can't take that first step anymore, how important is it that you start seeking out new friends, new contacts, new partnerships, all of that? I mean, talk to us about growing your community and your even your mentors and people around you.
Yeah. 100%. I think that is some of the best advice ever. And I think it was Napoleon Hill who said, you are the 5 people that you surround you. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And then, I found myself getting really fat, drinking a lot. Yeah. And then I realized, hang on, is this the person who I want to be? And the answer is no. So this year, actually, so that fat analogy is from like 2015.
Yeah.
This year, and then I became a dad, and dad body, etc. And then this year, I can no longer blame my kids for my dad body. So I went, okay, I got to take responsibility for that. And I looked around and I went, interesting. These are the people I spend my time with. And then what happens if I spend time over here? And these are all gym gym junkies, but they're fit-looking dudes. So all of a sudden, my body's starting to become fit because of their habits. The choices that they make impact me. Yeah. It's, hey, let's go out here for a meal. Hey, let's have this. Instead of let's go get drunk, it's, hey, let's go have a juice and go for a walk down the beach. Yeah, wow, that's cool.
100%. Well, you start changing your habits, don't you? You start reevaluating your decisions, and I say this to people as well, Johan. Even if you are hanging around people that normally you're not used to, and you start, they're talking a different language. Even if you're the weakest link in that chain, when the chain moves, you get pulled with it, and the tide will take you wherever it takes you. But if you're in the right group, in the right environment, it's okay to be. If you're the smartest person in that room, well, the room can't take you where you want to get to. And I firmly believe sometimes you want to hang around people who have done more, or who've been there, done that. You can learn from them, almost be a sponge, and just say, hey, I'm just willing to shut up and listen. Teach me.
Yeah. Hanging around the right people has made the biggest difference in my life, because through doing that, you're getting to learn through all of their experiences, the conversations that they've had. We've got in business authorities, we've got a group of people who are no longer, they don't need to have, they don't need money anymore. But the conversations that they have, every conversation is about ideas and how to take things to market and how to grow, and spirituality and mindfulness. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. This is amazing. Like, to be around people at this level who talk and speak and think in this manner. 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine these conversations.
That's awesome.
That's the beauty of surrounding yourself with the right people.
No, that's brilliant. And you talked a little bit earlier, Johan, about having goals and having a plan. So how people that come traditionally from the corporate world, even when you work for Hugo Boss, you would have been given targets and KPIs, and there's a plan, and here's what we're set to achieve. And sure, you might have been one of those people that overachieved, but you had something you were working towards, right? So we get trained like this classically in the corporate world, but in business, how important is it to have that vision, have goals, have things that you're aspiring to, and then monitor yourself, keep yourself on track? Because if you don't do it, who else is going to do it?
100%. Great question. And I think the people who do come from a corporate background have a much better chance of surviving and thriving in business than normal people who started off with a passion.
Yeah.
And of course, they will have passion, otherwise they're not going to start a business. I'm talking about the people in corporate. But because they have the structured thinking, you know, I need to achieve this, I need these KPIs to be met, this is my time that I have allocated to this. Those people already know these things, as opposed to other people who haven't been in corporate. They don't have the right structure. And it's that structure which is going to set you up for success. So with the structure in mind, with the right business models, like there's 10 business models that you can set up in your business. And the more of those business models that you have in your business, the more chances of success there are, so that you won't fail. So, you know, examples, restaurants, COVID hits. Most of them start throwing their arms up going, oh my God, we're in lockdown, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But there was others that were thriving. The reason being,
that's right.
they just became, you know, they joined every delivery app.
Yep.
And I was walking past one of these things, and there was a huge line, and I'm like, how the hell is there a line? The restaurant's closed.
Yeah.
But they're just open to, you know, to do orders. And those were all the people lining up to do deliveries.
Yeah.
So they turned themselves essentially into a kitchen that was just cooking nonstop 24/7, and all these orders were going out.
Yep.
And they had a lineup of all these drivers just shipping them out. And then I went and spoke to the owner. I'm like, how's business? He's like, oh my God.
Couldn't be better.
He's
run off his feet.
He goes, even after all this stuff is done, he goes, I think I'm going to stick to this business model. I'm just going to have my kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait. I don't have staff. I don't have to wait on tables. I don't have to clean up their messes. He goes, here we are just doing our art, and it's a sausage factory essentially.
Right.
You know, creating these beautiful creations, and they're putting them in the boxes, and they're getting shipped out, and the customers are leaving happy reviews. How was your review? Yes, it was fantastic. Because business has never been better. So this comes now to mindset. You know, business is all about mindset. Some people say, oh my God, this is so hard. While others say, oh my God, this is an opportunity of a life. This is a 1 in 100-year event.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost an inflection point, isn't it? It's a chance for you to either pivot and try something different, be innovative, or keep doing what you've always done. But when the climate has changed, you know, doing the same thing over and over again isn't going to get you a different result. And, you know, I think it was Einstein who might have said that. And I think that was a great example you shared, because I was actually in Melbourne during the last lockdown, and you guys have had more lockdowns than any state that I know. You know, I remember talking to or walking past a favorite cafe that I went to, and this owner was disgruntled and unhappy, and he was shutting down, and he, you know, because the announcement had been made, and he was basically, you know, telling all his staff to go home and putting everything back. And I'm like, dude, like, why can't you, you know, but everyone thinks differently, right? And then you tell me the example of this other business who just started churning out the kitchen 24/7, pumping out orders and deliveries. And so, yeah, everyone adapts differently, but you got to be prepared to change.
Well, that change is the only constant in our lives.
Yeah.
There's not one day that's the same. There's not one thing that's this moment, you know, will be gone forever. Yeah. Change is the only constant.
Yeah. Hey, wow, we've covered a lot, and you know, if we had all day, I'd talk to you all day about this stuff. You'd probably run a workshop on all of this, because what we're talking about really is life lessons and mindset, and how to adapt, and how to be, you know, competitive, but yet how to be smart and leverage, and all of these different concepts. But I'm sure there's so much more we can cover. Johan, what I want to do at this point in the conversation is let's change gears a little bit. Okay, so away from all the serious stuff, and let's have a little bit of fun. So I typically play this game with some of our guests. It's called Rapid Response, and I'll just shoot a few questions out of you, nothing too hard, and you probably covered some of this stuff anyway, but I just want to see what comes to your mind, you know, first off the bat. Willing to play?
Go for it.
Yeah?
Let's go.
Awesome. So what is your favorite mode of learning? How do you learn stuff?
Video.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, I love watching videos, and when I'm watching videos, I've got a notepad open and I'm taking notes.
So you're still one of those people who write things down as you
Yeah,
write.
well, I was going to say notepad on my computer.
Okay.
on actual notepad.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So video. Wonderful. Now, do you have a favorite role model or a hero, or you could be more than one that you look up to that inspires you?
Yeah, I've got about 20, and
I'm sure.
they're all different, and it's really important to have those role models or the people who you're listening to, because those are the people who's going into your brain. Those are the people who you're listening to, which then becomes your thoughts, and then your thoughts becomes your programming.
Yeah.
So whoever you're listening to, pay very, very, very much attention to their vocabulary, their mannerisms, etc. Because by you watching them so much, or I'm saying watching because I like watching, watching videos, and so my brain, you end up mimicking those people. And so when I said I've got 20, there's 20 amazing people that I love to consume their content, because that then shapes. It's where I want to be. It's inspiring. When I say 20 people, they're not all business owners. I'm talking about Michael Jackson, Eminem, teachings of Buddha, all these kinds of things, because it inspires you and pulls out all this creativity that you didn't know that was there before.
Yeah, one of my models, one of my people that I look up to, one of my mentors is my karate instructor, and
nice.
And he is a business owner, yes, but I don't learn business from him. He teaches me things like persistence and showing up on time and discipline and mindset and all of those things, which of course when you translate into the business world are priceless. So I get the fact that you've got more than one or a dozen or 20 different people you look up to. Awesome. Now you and I have we've said several quotes during our chat today, but is there a quote, maybe a favorite one of yours that stands out, or maybe a couple that you want to sort of remind our guests about?
We will find a way or create one. Hannibal.
Oh, love it. And who was that by?
Hannibal.
Hannibal. Fantastic.
I just like the quote, maybe not the person.
The quote, guys. Okay. Now, you mentioned about B1G1 as one of the causes or charities that you support. Is that the main one? Is there others that you're either involved in or you want to just do a shout out to, or if you want to elaborate a little bit more about B1G1, please? Yeah,
for sure. So I love B1G1. I love Paul Dunn and Masami, and they've built a great platform where I can go on, and the thought process behind it was, Masami said to Paul, wouldn't it be incredible that if every time somebody bought a television, somebody else around the world would get the gift of vision? And so buy one, give one doesn't mean buying one TV and giving away one TV. It means you're buying something, which is the beauty of having this beautiful vision on this television. And because somebody else who can't see that, you're giving them the gift of vision. And the beauty of B1G1 is that after, I don't say to you, hey, Gavin, come to one of my events, and from the ticket price of coming to one of my events, 10% is going to get donated to blah. Because your thought process, as soon as I say that, is you've jacked up the price by 10%, right?
Right.
But when you come to any of my events, you'll get a certificate saying, hey, Gav, because you came, like this was literally what we did last time, a whole family in the Ukraine got clothing and food for the entire winter. Thank you for your donation.
Yeah, that means a lot more, doesn't it? It's impactful. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's that one.
Wonderful. Now, something quirky about you that not many people know, and I the minute I ask you that question, I'm thinking about the guy in the cool shades and the duffel bag walking around with a bag full of diamonds. But if you can top that, go for it.
Something quirky about me. I'm a geek. I'm a board game geek. I love playing board games. My most fun times is when I'm just sitting around and playing board games. And I'm not talking about your normal everyday board games. I'm talking about the geeky board games with little miniature characters and stuff warring at each other. So there you go.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, listen, that's great. Thanks for sharing those little things about you that not many people know. But Johan, man, you're a man full of knowledge and wisdom earned through experience, not just by doing a course somewhere. And I know you've got the letters after your name, and you're a doctor because you got a PhD.
No. I quit the PhD 1 month before handing it in. 1 month before handing it in. Can you imagine the disappointment in my parents?
No. Your parents are probably like, what is
later.
this guy doing? He studied. He hasn't got anything to show for it. He sits at home all day on the internet. Walks around with a bag of diamonds. We don't know him.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No, I'm just joking. That's a fantastic journey, and your journey, really, to be honest, Johan, you're only just beginning. Really, there's so much more to life, and it's exciting where this can take you. I mean, where do you see things moving for you in the future? Have you got some plans? I mean, is there anything you want to share with us? Are you writing a book? Are you got some plans to?
I'd like to say I'm doing all of that. So I am writing the book. For any of your listeners who want some beautiful, training or some real good strategies, you can go to. By the way, can I give a plug?
100%. That was the next thing I was going to do. Yeah.
Cool. So you can go to businessauthorities.com/new-training, and there you'll have 4 hours of my brain systematically taking you through how to build, grow, and scale a business.
Wonderful. I will put that link at the end in the show notes, when we pop this thing live. But yeah, listen, Johan, if people are listening to this going, Johan guy's a cool guy, and I'd love to get in touch with him. What's the easiest way to either reach you, reach your team, or just follow your work? I mean, there's some other ways that people can reach you.
Yeah, for sure. So you can go to businessauthorities.com. That's the website. You can go to Facebook and type in Business Authorities Community, or you can email me, johan@businessauthorities.com. And
I know you're also on LinkedIn, and you're on Twitter, and you're on all the social media.
I don't really use them.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. That's the others. They're there, but it's not really me.
Okay. No, that's good. Hey, any last things you want to say to our guests? Anything else that we talked about your story, your background. Is there anything else you'd like to share or shout out? Maybe a thank you to some people or anything like that. Feel free.
Thank you to you. Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for sharing me with your audience, and I'm honored to call you a friend. As soon as we met, I still remember the first conversation you and I had, and I just went, my God, I need to meet this guy. He's just one of the cool cats. And that's
thank you. You're too kind.
No. It's all in full seriousness. And your smile lights up the room. As soon as I see you, I smile, right? Everybody smiles.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
So thank you to you. And, man, thank you for the opportunity.
No, you're very welcome. Hey, listen, thanks, Johan. More power to you and your team and your family and all of that stuff. And, keep inspiring people. And, once all these lockdowns and all sort of ease, I can't wait for us to keep catching up and supporting your events. And, I can't wait to catch up again in person. But until then, have a wonderful day, and we'll speak to you soon.
For sure. Take care. Thank you, guys. Bye.
If you like this podcast and would like to understand a little bit more about what was just discussed, then you're in luck. Simply head over to breakfreefromcorporate.com, and we have a fantastic bonus gift waiting for you to download. All we ask in return is that you leave us a review on iTunes and or Stitcher, whichever you use. And lastly, help us share this podcast around with your friends, your colleagues through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or LinkedIn. We truly appreciate all your support, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this podcast episode of Break Free from Corporate. Once again, to access previous and all future episodes, visit breakfreefromcorporate.com and subscribe today.